As a child, I worked for my dad in his wholesale company, selling produce to taquerias, which are mostly owned by my uncles. In the Mexican culture, children get put in harsh labor from a really young age. Even though I worked before 5 years of age, I remember so little of that part of my childhood. The memories I still have include working and being in the produce terminal. Like Cesar Pavese once said, we do not remember days, we remember moments. This place structured my career path, since I have worked here most of my life. To this day, I enjoy being there even if I am under the worst conditions. Whenever I work with my dad in his company, I feel I belong there because of the scent, sound, sight, and touch of things. Driving into the produce terminal, I began to smell rotten produce and the gas coming from the trucks. With my expertise, I can be blindfolded and be able to identify every produce by scent in the market. One of the most awful odors involves a dumpster and rotten produce, which still haunts me to this day. Whenever I get tasked to take out the trash, I would pretend to put on my imaginary hazmat suit because I fear the stench would latch onto me. The certain scents are not the only thing unique to the produce terminal, but the sounds are distinct too. Listening to the environment of the warehouse, I can hear the liveliness of the activity and the people. I have gotten used to hearing loud engines next to my ear while trying to understand what my dad tells me. Around the produce terminal, there will be this guy that will always shout, "Animo cabron," everywhere he showed up. Every so often, I would hear people shouting, but this guy is different, and I knew where he was at all the times. One of the most peaceful places to be is inside the office, but mainly it is the restroom, since it was way in the back where no one really goes to. Hearing the sounds of the warehouse brings me joy, but not as much as seeing what is going on. From the moment I first take a step to when I leave the terminal, the many sights still fascinate me. The old buildings look quite used and a bit abused, but still manage to function. Surprisingly, the weight of the semi-trucks has not broken the pavement since it looks new, except for some tire marks. Some workers find it funny to break the windows with tomatoes, so probably about 75% of the windows in the produce terminal do not have glass in them, and trust me, I have seen it happen. I know most of the workers come from Mexico as immigrants because some of them still wear Mexican sandals known as huaraches. My curiosity of seeing all the magnificent equipment makes me want to use them. Upon holding an avocado, I remember lessons my father has told me about plants. I enjoy feeling the different textures to determine if a produce can be sent to a client. Sometimes the produce can be rotten and pops in your hand, which can be quite nasty. Even though the buildings are old, everything feels like it could last another 100 years. Also, the equipment is outdated, which also means that I can still use them despite being gone for so long. My first time doing anything like driving a car took place in the produce terminal, but instead it was a truck. Having the physical produce in my hand gives me so much memories of the past. Being involved with produce will always give me a nostalgic feeling that I enjoy. The place might be in one of the most gang-populated neighborhoods, but I have adapted to live and be comfortable in those conditions. Also, the poor conditions of the terminal does not affect me since I have lived in a house infested with scorpions, spiders, and snakes when I was about 5. Finding one sense of place does not involve traveling to places where one has not been to, but going to with their roots and where they spent most of their childhood.